What's up, guys? This is the Osmo.com Night Shift Podcast. Talking some MLB for Thursday, August 9th. We've got just 9 games in total. This should be quick, especially with the 3-game early. Main game slate is going to be the main talking points for this night shift, as well as the MLB strategy video. Speaking of the strategy video, you can tune in with Josh and myself at around 9 Eastern. As always, we'll have the live chat, and then we'll have the live stream, the daily game plan. I'll be on the live stream at 6 Eastern before lock. Osmo will have his perfect pitcher article, and then we'll have the rankings and ownership projections as always. So let's talk about some baseball. First game up. Let me load my sheet here. First game up. We're going to start with, let me mute my text messages here. Damn group chats. All right, here we go. Game number 1, Atlanta and Washington. This is on the early slate. Just going to talk really briefly on the early slate. Not much that I find super interesting. So we've got Anibal Sanchez against Gio Gonzalez. Sanchez 8,100. He's been really solid so far this year. Made me somewhat of a believer, but I'm still not going to him here. Not against the Nationals, not against Harper, Murphy, Rendon, Turner, Adams if he's in there. I mean, it's just going to be a really tough matchup. It's got to be the perfect price and the perfect type of pitcher for me to want to target against the Nats these days. So no thank you on Anibal. Gio on the other side, he's cheap enough. I mean, he's got to be the chalk, right? At 6,200 on this early slate. There's really no getting around it. Just too cheap. He's at home, should hopefully get some run support. Kind of makes for a really tough fade. It's either going to be him or Guerra as the chalk SB2, but I have a feeling it's going to be Gio just because people know him. He's been solid at times. It's not a great strikeout matchup, but hard to fade on this slate. So if I'm going against Gio, it's going to be Flowers or Suzuki, whoever is catching for Atlanta, and then Acuna and Albies too, I think make for really nice contrarian plays if you're going against Gio. Twins, Indians, we have Corey Kluber going up against Jose Barrios. Barrios is 9K. The matchup is clearly baked into his price here. He's much better against righties, but those first 3 he's going to lead off with are going to be really tough for Barrios. I think he probably struggles here. So for 9K, I'm probably going to be off of him. I like those top 3. I don't really like the rest of the lineup, so if he can somehow navigate the first few batters, I think Barrios could be fine here. I mean, he's got really good stuff. His velocity is actually up, so he's fully healthy. And you get him for 9K, but man, it's just really tough for me to target against Cleveland as well. So I'm probably going to be playing a lot of chalk on this early slate if I end up going there. Kluber for 10-9 against the Twins. He's going to be very popular because he is at home. He's favored. This Twins lineup is nothing special. I mean, I like Rosario and Polanco and Kepler to some extent as hitters, but certainly more than enough strikeouts for Kluber to get the job done. And this is why I don't like the early slate, is because I feel like I'm talking about all the chalky plays. The chalky plays are going to be chalky for good reason. Padres and Brewers. Robbie Erlin going up against Junior Guerra. Erlin is not someone that I particularly like, but he is pretty decent against righties, oddly enough. Actually giving up a ton of hard contact to lefties, and then against righties, really limiting the damage, striking out 21% of righties, 333 xFIP. I know it's a small sample, but only 24% hard contact. A lot of medium and soft contact for Erlin. I don't know if you'll need to go this deep, but I think the Brewers will be popular. Maybe this is a way you can get different. It's going with Erlin. You're going to get a completely different roster construction. You're going to get leverage off the Brewers bats. And just get a low-owned pitcher. I mean, he's got a chance to be a top half pitcher, and that's what you need on this slate. when it's only 3 games like this. Junior Guerra going for the Brewers. He's coming off a really nice start, and I mean he's got to be owned here. He's going to be a top 3 owned pitcher. I think all the guys at home are going to be the chalk, and they should be. Going up against the Padres, they strike out over 25% against righties this season. They're even worse on the road, and Guerra has shown some strikeout upside. So just nothing to really dislike on his end. I don't even know who I would target if I was targeting against Guerra here, just because the Padres have so many lackluster hitters. Maybe a power bat like Renfroe or someone like that, but it just doesn't look very appealing. If I'm going with Brewers bats, Lorenzo Cain and Jesus Aguilar really, really stick out to me. So if you're not going the Erlin route, I think those 2 are my favorite plays on that side. But yeah, let's go to the main slate. A little bit better here. Let's go to Texas and the Yankees. We've got Ariel Jurado against J.A. Happ. Jurado is 4,200, and this is a spot where I think he gets blasted. He wasn't even missing bats against Baltimore, and when you're not missing bats against Baltimore, you're going to have a really tough time against the Yankees, because if you can't get swinging strikes, if you cannot get guys to chase, you're going to be in really, really deep trouble when you go up against Stanton, Gregorius, Hicks, Gleiber, Greg Bird, in Yankee Stadium, no less. So I don't see a total yet for this game, but I'm assuming the Yankees are going to be having a quite healthy total. I don't think that's going to be very tough to predict. But Happ on the other side for 9,300. Super interesting to me, especially because he's going to get some lefties in this lineup like Gallo, possibly Ronald Guzman, Rougned Odor, Shin-Soo Choo. So there are some strikeouts. Happ's been good this entire year as well. Didn't get the strikeouts against Kansas City in his first start as a Yankee, but I expect him to have a really nice start in Yankee Stadium. So I'm not targeting hitters against him. Boston and Toronto. Rick Porcello against Ryan Borucki. Porcello is someone that just he's in that kind of Luke Weaver territory for me, where he's confusing. Much better real-life pitcher than DFS pitcher, but as he showed in his last start, he went complete game shutout, I believe. I know it was a complete game. I don't remember if it was a shutout. I guess I can pull it up right here. Against the Yankees, no less. It was at home. Not that matters a ton to me. But yeah, 9 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 earned run for Porcello in his last start. But then you look at like the swinging strike rates and such, and it's not like he's just blowing guys away. So just kind of a crafty pitcher Porcello is. Strikes out more lefties than righties this season, but gives up a lot more hard contact to lefties. So I actually don't mind him here. The problem is he's 10K, and why not go to a J.A. Happ for 9,300? So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to play Porcello that much, but I don't really want to target against him either. Borucki on the other side, I don't know how this guy continues to do it. I would guess it's probably because he's got a pretty solid chase rate, almost 35%. He could survive here. He's done it in basically every start, just survived. He did it again against Seattle in his last start. I don't know exactly what it is, but the Red Sox are also worse against lefties than righties. Oddly enough, I can't get to playing Borucki, but outside of Betts, JD, and Pierce, I don't know that I'm going to be full stacking the Red Sox. I've been fading them against lefties for most of the year, and for the most part, it's worked out. So maybe Borucki, there is something to him. Maybe it's his delivery. I haven't watched much of him, but a very good chase rate there. So that's the one positive I could say about Borucki. Baltimore and Tampa Bay, David Hess going up against Blake Snell, I believe it's going to be. DraftKings does not have a starter listed for this game just yet, but I'm seeing from some reports that it's going to be Snell. Snell started, it'll be 5 days from the 9th. He started August 4th, so that would make sense that he would get this start. I don't know if they're going to give him an extra rest or an extra day of rest, or what they're waiting for to announce the starter, but for now I'm just going to go with it's Blake Snell. Hess is 4,100, not a guy I play. I know it's a good park. I don't think he's the worst pitcher in the world, but really tough to get strikeouts when you're striking guys out at 12% rate. You're not getting swinging strikes. You're not getting guys to really chase all that much. He's usable in that he's 4,100 and he's in Tampa Bay against an average offense in a great park. But if you're playing Hess, I don't think you're playing him for the talent, at least not from what I'm looking at. Speaking of talent, Snell is 11-5, and he had a good few innings against the White Sox in his return. Got some swinging strikes, did everything that I would expect him to do against the White Sox. The only bad part is he only threw 59 pitches. So you stretch him out, you give him, 75, 80. I would think they probably don't let him go over 80. For 11-5, that's tough. And for that reason, he's probably going to be pretty low owned on the main slate. And I get it. When you've got Verlander for $900 more or Paxton for $900 less, it makes it tough to go to Snell. I will say he's got some pretty crazy upside if he can get on a roll early. It could be like the Tyler Glasnow thing where he's striking out close to 10 guys with limited pitches. So I will probably have some Snell. I don't want to target against him in this Tampa bullpen, which is actually pretty decent, and especially not in this park with the Orioles. So I like Snell, don't like the price, but makes for an interesting GPP option. Seattle and Houston, James Paxton for 10-6 against Justin Verlander. Two of the top pitchers in the MLB right now, if you go by their last few starts. Paxton just come back from the DL and just dominated. And one of those starts was against Houston. I believe it was 2 starts ago. So he had a 13% swinging strike rate, well above average chase rate. And then against Toronto, 15.2% swinging strike rate, 51% O swing rate. That's pretty enormous. 7 innings in each, 8 and 7 strikeouts. I mean, the results look great. The stuff behind the scenes looks even better. So I'm not going to put it past Paxton that he could do it again against Houston. It's a watered-down lineup. No Springer, no Altuve, no Correa just yet. So I'm on Paxton for 10-6. I hope he's pretty low owned because I like that as a GPP play. Verlander for 12-4 on DraftKings. If there's someone that's looking better than Paxton right now, it's Justin Verlander, just coming off a 14 strikeout performance. He's just striking out everyone at this point. Righties, lefties, 37% strikeout rate to lefties. Some fly balls against lefties, but they just let him go deep. And I usually don't like to target Seattle, but it's not like there aren't strikeouts in this lineup. You've got Healy and Zunino, Cameron Maybin. Haniger strikes out above average against righties. So there's certainly a path for another double-digit strikeout game for Verlander. I don't think I need to get cute and target against him all that much. And I will have a bunch of Verlander. I'm interested to see ownership on this slate, to see who's emerging as chalk as the day goes on. So should be a fun slate to research throughout the day a little bit more. Dodgers and Rockies, we've got Ross Stripling against Tyler Anderson. Both of these guys super cheap. This is Coors Field. That's partly why. And Stripling has run into a bit of a rough patch after just being steady for a very long time. He's still striking out over 30% of lefties. I don't hate playing him in Coors for 7,200. I don't hate playing either guy at these prices. I think I prefer Anderson if I'm going to one of these guys, but Stripling for 7,200, that's not a price you see on him very often. And he makes sense against a lot of average to below average hitters for the Rockies. That being said, I will have some Charlie Blackmon. I like Story and Arenado a little bit as well. So I will have both sides of this game, probably both, or actually I'll have all sides of this game. It's one of those where I can see one side going crazy, and I want to be on whatever side it is. Anderson is 5,900, just too cheap for a guy that's shown he can pitch in Coors Field, shown he can get swings and misses, and that's the key in Coors Field. If you can get swings and misses, the weather doesn't really matter. And Anderson's shown he can do that. He's 5,900. It's a not great matchup, obviously, against this Dodgers team. You add Dozier, you add Machado, and you're just going to crush lefties. But Anderson has the stuff to limit this offense, and he's 5,900. That is kind of ridiculous. So, some interest in Anderson. I will have Colorado stacks because it is Coors Field. I don't want to just avoid a team as talented as the Dodgers, but I think they're going to be a little bit over-owned, and as a result, I'm probably going to come in a little bit underweight. All right, Pittsburgh and San Francisco, last game of the night. Wow, I just saw this price on Andrew Suarez. So, it's got to be Suarez, right? That's going? Yeah, okay. It's Nova and Suarez. Okay. Weird pricing here for DraftKings. So you've got Ivan Nova against Andrew Suarez. And they're so Nova is 4,900. Suarez is 5,100. They're pitching in the best pitching environment on the entire night. Not even a question. You've got Coors. You could just play both of these guys in San Francisco, hope for a low-scoring game, which more often than not in San Francisco it is a low-scoring game, and just stack up any bats you want. You could go to Tampa Bay. You could go to Boston if you like them. The Yankees, I love. I mean, just a pretty bad job by DraftKings pricing these guys way down like this. Like, make people make decisions, you know? Yeah, so weird stuff. Yeah, this is kind of flustering me. Anyways, Nova, 4,900 here. How can you not like him at this price in this park? He's going up against a lot of righties. He's much better against righties than lefties. Actually, a pretty good pitcher against right-handed bats overall. xFIP is lower, strikeout rate above average, limits the damage for the most part. And the Giants aren't some team that I'm scared of, especially not in this park. So Nova is more than in play. I would assume he's going to be chalky, but that's chalk I'm somewhat willing to eat on this 6-gamer where there's like 3 stacks that are awesome and then stud pitchers going, and then now you throw in these 2 pitchers that are just way too cheap, and you got yourself a pretty easy build on DraftKings. So bats, I'm probably going to be off for the most part here. Suarez on the other side, not my favorite guy either, but man, it's hard not to go to him for 5,100 against the Pirates team that they have been pretty bad against lefties all year. They strike out about league average, under 100 WRC plus. Now you put them in one of the worst parks. It's not like they have a ton of power against lefties, so yeah, Suarez is also in play for me, even though I dislike the guy. He gives up way too much hard contact against righties, but that may not matter in AT&T. So, interesting main slate, not a very interesting early slate. Kind of excited to see ownership on the main slate to see if it's what I expect or if I'm just missing something, but pretty pumped to play. We'll see if we can find some more edges as the day goes on. And good luck, guys. Tune into the strategy video with Josh and I. Check out the Spotlight Hitters, Pitchers, and Stacks. The live stream. Everything good on the site. Awesemo's perfect pitcher article. We'll have it all out for you. So good luck. See you in the morning.